Hello and welcome to another episode of Pop Culture Rewind. I am your host Travis.
And this is Chris.
And we are here in this video. We're going to discuss and break down our thoughts and review of Spider-Man No Way Home.
In 30 minutes or less, or it's free.
No promises.
Legit, like we saw the movie maybe an hour and a half ago.
This is fresh out of the theater review.
Yeah.
So we
still smell the popcorn.
Is that what I'm smelling?
I hope that is popcorn.
Yeah,
it's been a long week.
You smell better if it was popcorn, actually. I would. We said that because if, in case we forget to mention something or whatever the case may be,
spoilers.
He said spoilers,
yes.
But what I'm saying is we might forget something because we're thinking we have so much stuff on our minds right now that we're trying to get out onto the recording device, so it's out in the world here. But what we're going to try to do, theoretically here, we're just going to do a quick rundown of our thoughts, non-spoilery first, just to say what we thought of it originally, and then after that we'll get into heavy spoilers.
Yeah, but if you've been on the internet, you probably heard most of them by now.
Yeah. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. So, and then we'll wrap up at the end saying, give us, some of our theories and thoughts about where we think this might be going after.
Second gunman in the grassy knoll type stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay. So you ready to get this thing going here?
Let's go. Let's do it.
Dude.
This
is good.
So for people that have been waiting for No Way Home to come out and have been watching the commercials, give them a Cribs Notes version of what No Way Home entails.
Okay, so the whole premise of this whole movie is basically a takeoff. If you watch the last movie, Far From Home, there's a post-credit scene. Spider-Man, Peter Parker, he's ousted by that crafty Mysterio villain.
Shake harder, boy.
And J. Jonah Jameson blasting it on the World Wide Web and everything.
Times Square.
Yeah, so we ended the last movie with his identity being revealed. This movie just takes it off from there.
Scene. Yeah.
It's literally opens up right after that. So basically the premise of this is his life is getting basically in shambles because everybody knows who he is. It's affecting him. It's affecting his friends, his family. So he goes to, we've seen this in the trailers, Doctor Strange. And he says, hey, man, is there something that we can do? Maybe cast a spell or whatever to make people forget that I am Spider-Man. And so they get that thing going. Calamity ensues during the thing, and then we're off to the races with that. It's a kind of some surprises and some characters that pop in, and then it all kind of wraps up.
Yeah, another one of those superhero undoings that has to be done from superhero mistakes.
Yes.
We get some of those every now and then.
Yeah, and there are some good character pieces in there from Peter himself. Yeah. So we'll get into all that. But what did you think? Just kind of. Let me ask you this: what was your expectations going into it, and did it meet up with your expectations?
Man, my expectations were pretty low.
Really?
Because of my biggest complaint. And it's happening almost too often. The trailers and commercials are giving away too much shit about the movie. Like, I kind of got the entire premise of the movie before I even sat down, and I'm not sure if it's a small franchise or a movie that you've never heard of and you're trying to get attention, you want to give out some hook, something to let you know that, oh, this is what I'm getting myself into when I'm putting money down on the counter to get a ticket to sit down and watch this movie. How many Spider-Man movies have we had now?
Altogether?
Yeah.
Hold on. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah. And this isn't like Thor or Guardians or this isn't like B-level stuff. Spider-Man has been making money since Sam Raimi, and then the second reiteration with Andrew Garfield, then this.
Right.
At this point, you just put the word Spider-Man on the screen for 30 seconds and the date of the movie, you're going to go watch it. Well, especially if we're falling out from Far From Home and Homecoming. Right. Like, you already know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So it felt like I knew enough. It felt like I knew too much of this movie when I saw these not spoilers, but the commercials and the fucking trailers for everything. Third trailer, fourth trailer, fifth trailer. It's like, damn, dude, save me something.
Well,
at least that's what I thought when I bought when before I walked in.
Well, it's interesting because I remember there was a long period of no marketing for this thing.
Yeah,
and people were making up posters because Marvel wasn't releasing any posters for it. There was like literally nothing going. There were rumors. Now that kind of leads into my expectations because there were several. I'm a little rusty here. Several rumors and fan theories and everything else out there that was making this movie being hyped up more than it. And plus, with the lack of marketing that there was, I think that was feeding into a lot of the theories that people had,
either by choice or on purpose. You know, we forget now in 2021, Marvel is a huge fucking machine. Like, they want you to watch Spider-Man eventually, but you still got to watch Winter Soldier. You still got to watch WandaVision. You still got to watch everything else. And so eventually that's going to have its time. But the drawback of that is, well, we haven't gotten a trailer in so long. What's the holdup or what's going on? And then you start thinking, oh, well, shit.
Yeah, you start hearing the rumors and stuff. So, but I had high expectations for this thing, and I was pleasantly surprised. I think it lived up to most of the expectations that I had for the movie, and it delivered on them. So, I very happy with the movie. And I'll say this: Marvel needed a home run to close out the year because the last couple of outings. We'll get in that in another video, but they started the year off strong with WandaVision. Mm-hmm. They ended the year even stronger with this movie, I think. Yeah. And the box office is still coming in.
537 million worldwide in 5 days as of now that we're recording, and it has not been released in China yet.
Yeah, so this could be their first $1 billion movie since Endgame.
Yeah, so like Sing, Nightmare Alley. What else is coming out this Wednesday? The Wednesday before Christmas. Matrix.
I don't know, Matrix. Well, I don't know. Matrix that could go 50-50, I think. But this is a good win that they needed. Now, with all that being said, let's get into some spoilers.
Dude! Oh my god.
Where do you want to start?
I'm going to ask you this question.
All right.
Did you cry?
I thought I was going to. There's a couple of scenes. I thought I was going to have to hold some back, especially sitting next to you. I was like, "Hey, this motherfucker, let me see him cry."
We cried together during Logan.
No, we didn't.
I did. Like, I did. The tears didn't fall, but I knew they were coming, so I just went like this maybe once or twice. I'm not sure if you caught it. Where I rub my eyes under my glasses. Yeah, they got me.
That was like 5 years ago. I already forgot.
There's some moments they got me.
It
was pretty good.
And there were some emotional scenes. Let's get into the big one. I think of this movie was there's a scene. I love Marissa Tomei. I thought she did a fine job as Aunt May.
In The Wrestler, you could like all of Marissa Tomei.
This is true too. But in this movie as Aunt May, I think in the franchise, I think she's done a great job as Aunt May. That being said, one thing we didn't get in this movie was the whole Uncle Ben. With great power comes great responsibility. They give her the full Uncle Ben treatment. Yeah. And when I say full treatment, I mean she gives him the line with great power comes great responsibility. And then we get a death scene
almost immediately after, which is kind of awesome in the sense that we've had these movies now. We're in the third Spider-Man movie, technically 4 if you want to count Civil War, because that's where he was introduced, and we know of Aunt May and everything. And it's cool that in this aspect of the movie that the whole multiverse does exist in the actual live MCU. That this is not the odd, but the different one that not everyone is used to, where Aunt May is the Uncle Ben.
Right.
And she's the main crux she's the moral compass that keeps Peter straight.
Right.
And her passing out, her dying in this movie makes you wonder how much of an influence she had, because towards the end, when it's the one-on-one showdown with Peter and Doc and Green Goblin, he's ready to go ham, like,
yeah,
unalive him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So that was the emotional tug, if you will, for this movie.
And then part 2, one of the redemption scenes of this movie was where there's all the Spider-Men are here. Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield. In Andrew Garfield's universe, he lost his MJ. So there's a scene in the movie where our MJ is about to die, and
our Peter
is knocked away by the enemy, and so she's about to fall. And then Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man actually winds up saving her from the fall. And he's more emotionally unstable than she is.
Right.
When he's the one that actually rescued her, and he wasn't the one
that was her
to
redemption.
be rescued.
Yeah.
That was his redemption.
Yeah.
That he was able to save in MJ.
Yeah.
And that kind of hit just as hard for me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I could see what they were doing on that one, and, it made sense, and it was a nice little touching moment. But you just kind of ran over a whole fact right there. We do, in fact, have more than one Spider-Man in this movie.
Yeah.
That was the biggest poor Andrew Garfield. Jesus, he was on all these talk shows promoting other projects that he had, and everybody kept asking him, "Are you in the new Spider-Man movie?" And of course, the poor bastard kept having to say, "No, I'm not in it," because hello, he can't just say, "Yeah, I'm in it."
Yeah.
So, and everybody was calling him liar. He's full of BS, all this other stuff, blah blah blah. But yeah, he is in it. And the scene that the way they introduce these other, we get Andrew Garfield first, and then right after that we get a Tobey Maguire. But the way they're introduced is really good. And when we see him, it's from a distance. We're not too sure because it's kind of shadowy and everything. Yeah. And then we start to get closer. It's like, holy shit, that's the Amazing Spider-Man 2 costume. Yeah. And when he comes in, he takes that mask off. The audience started clapping and hollering and everything. And then I was like, all right, cool. Now, not even 5 minutes later, they try to do it again. And basically, here's a side point. Ned, Spider-Man's friend, he has one of Doctor Strange's knuckle ring things where you can open up portals. So that's how he's able to do that. But anyway, he opens up another portal, and we see Tobey Maguire standing on the other side. Not in costume, but it's just Tobey Maguire. Yeah. Now, when he came through, I applauded.
Yeah, I marked out too. I was like, wow.
Yeah, and he looked good too.
Yeah, that was some awesome CGI on him.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get into the special effects here in a second.
I honestly hope that was just him naturally because he looked good for his age.
Yeah. He looked thinner than I was expecting. I don't know why, but
not that it's official that it's all in canon, but there was an interesting bit in the Miles Morales animated Spider-Man movie that came out that Peter was training the kid and Peter had the gut. Yeah, Peter had the gut in it. So I was expecting Maguire, since he was the oldest one, to be like on all that shape and play that character. So for him to show up and looking like a whole snack, I was like, damn, all right.
Looking like a what?
Snack.
Okay.
We got to appeal to our young listeners if we have any left.
Not after that comment.
Not after that comment, yeah. The grays don't show through the mic. So
yeah, okay. So there's that, and now another big talking point, and it's not really spoilery because a lot of this has been in the trailers, but the villains. We didn't necessarily get the Sinister Six, but we got close to it. So we get
technically they were on screen, they just weren't together.
So the first villain we get. And this actually kind of plays out how the trailer plays out. Like, we get Doc Ock. He's the first one that shows up. He's the first one that shows up on the freeway bridge.
Pretty cool fight.
Yeah. So he shows up, and there was a cool little thing where he does attack Peter, and Peter's wearing the Tony Stark
the nanosuit,
and some of the nanobites get onto his tentacles.
And he takes control.
Yeah, that was Bluetooth. See, and I saw on the trailers, I noticed on the trailer that his tentacles were red, and I was like, oh, I wonder if he takes control of the suit. Mm-hmm. It was a nice twist where Peter could actually control his tentacles because he had control of the nano. So I thought that was a nice twist, and that's how he basically defeats Doc Ock. Mm-hmm. Neutralizes, yes. Yeah. Then right after that, we get a little cameo by Norman Osborn, Green Goblin. Mm-hmm. Then we kind of cut to some more plot stuff here. What's going on? Basically, Doctor Strange is the plan is he's going to trap a ball
and then send everybody back.
Everybody back. So they get they meet up with Electro. Mm-hmm. Then they meet up with Sandman. Mm-hmm. Basically the same time.
And then Lizard.
Lizard was already captured.
Yeah.
So so we have Lizard, Electro, Sandman, Doc Ock, and Green Goblin. So 5 out of 6.
Yeah. We'll talk about the 6 later.
Yeah. So I got to say, with bringing back the actors, specifically Alfred Molina and Willem Dafoe. Well, not so much Willem Dafoe because he looks like how he always looks. Yeah. But the de-aging on Alfred Molina, dude, he looks just like how he did in Spider-Man 2. Yeah. It's incredible how they did that. So that's why I just mentioned a little while ago with Tobey Maguire. I wonder if that was him, if that was him or CGI. Yeah. Because damn, the stuff they can. I forget sometimes this is Disney we're talking about, and Marvel, and some of the stuff they've done before in the past. And we've seen
Leia.
Well, I mean, we've seen. No, that's not a good. We've seen like in other Marvel movies de-aging going through, and it looks good. But it looked
great.
It didn't look computer animated. It looked like that was.
This wasn't trying to cover up a mustache. This was legit, good.
Yeah. And then Willem Dafoe, there's a couple scenes I thought they kind of de-aged him a little bit, but I think it was that might have been. Well, of course, I haven't really seen Willem Dafoe in a while, so I don't know what he looks like now, to be honest.
Yeah. So it was during this family reunion where they get under the bedrock of the issue where everyone every villain that had encountered Spider-Man has died to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And so when Tom Holland's Spider-Man realizes this, from the words of Aunt May, he doesn't want to just send them back off to die.
Right.
So he wants to be able to rehabilitate them, to give them a second chance.
But Doctor Strange is just telling them that's their fate.
It's fate. That's life. That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
And he stood against it. And this huge ass badass time traveling dimension shifting battle ensued between them, and it turned out Spider-Man banished Doctor Strange in his own mirror world.
Right.
While he found the time to try to rehabilitate these guys.
Right when that fight scene was taken off, before they go into their mirror dimension, Doctor Strange does that little trick where he punches the guy into the astral form. But he was trying to get this box that would fix everything away from Spider-Man while Peter's was in out-of-body experience type thing. But there was a thing where he was trying to get the box, but Spider-Man was still moving.
It might have been hit.
But he couldn't understand that, and I was kind of curious about why that was happening.
And I started to ask myself, has it been established in this MCU so far that he had Spidey sense?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. In Infinity War, he's on the bus and it's...
Okay. So maybe it might have been the Spidey sense that was taking over the actual body.
But that wouldn't be considered a threat.
Just because he's an
but there was a good scene. There was a good scene where he takes all the villains to the home base. In this case, it's Happy's
the basement. Happy's apartment, his condo.
And that's when a couple of the villains, mainly Electro, they all start figuring out. Well, wait a minute, you're gonna neuter us basically. You're gonna take away our powers, then you're gonna send us back. No, fuck that. So that's when they start banning. Now there's a really cool scene where Peter's kind of walking around and he kind of freezes. And then his spider sense is going off, but there's like 5 villains around him, and he doesn't know which one is which until he finally. So that was a nice little suspense moment. Yeah, I got a little kick out of that. Spoiler alert: it was Norman Osborn.
I like the continuity of the storyline. Before Doc Ock died in Spider-Man 2, Peter Parker redeemed him. And in the end, Doc Ock sacrificed himself to save the city from his whole reactor thing.
Right.
So it was cool that they followed that up with him actually being somewhat not so much the baby face, but he wasn't the actual villain.
He was the one that he could so Doc Ock was redeemed like he was in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Another one was Sandman. That was another continuity.
Yeah. His priority though wasn't I need to help the good guys. The priority was I just want to get home to my kid.
Right. He didn't care how he got back.
Yeah, he just wanted to get back.
Yeah, but I appreciate that. And I do appreciate that they did bring back all the actors that played him. Yeah. Even Thomas Hayden Church, that was kind of cool to kind of see him.
Who's the actor that played Lizard in Spider-Man 1?
You put me on the spot. I know the actor, and the name's escaping me at the moment. If we had some kind of phone device around us.
Billy Bob Joe Sam. Ricky. Yeah. Somebody.
So
that guy.
But anyway, all the actors are back playing their respective villains. But that led into the kind of the final battle where we get the 3 Spider-Men. There were some good interactions between the 3 of them, which I really enjoyed. That was kind of like a big highlight of the movie, seeing them all kind of interacting. The web shooter scene.
Yeah. That just comes out of you? How?
Yeah, yeah. So that was fun. But is there anything else that you wanted to kind of harp on this?
Final battle was pretty cool. They're trying to cure everyone. All 3 Spider-Men are working together in the lab to come up with ways to remove the powers from everyone.
I was just thinking, they were kind of bumping into each other and everything. He says, I'm not used to working with anybody else, and I'm the same way. And
I work with the Avengers. Yeah. Awesome. Who the fuck are they?
Are they a band? Are you the band? They're a band. Yeah. So that was a nice little joke right there too. But yeah, he kind of starts taking the charge. He said, "Okay, let's do this. We'll take them out one by one. Blah blah blah." And sure enough, I think Sandman was the first one to get cured, and then
Flint got turned back into normal.
Electro,
and then
so Electro. By the way, Electro. I wanted to touch on this earlier, but Electro, he got the arc reactor from. So that's what Peter's working with. He's got a little crate of leftover Stark tech. He's
got a little generator. Yeah. He's got a little generator printer dealy office desk.
So, but it's
powered
working
by an arc reactor.
So, and Electro can sense the
different power.
Yeah,
different type.
So that was kind of cool. His power, his character was all 10 times better than what we got in Amazing.
Not to mention, if you didn't notice the subtle details, whenever he would charge up, he'd have the old crown and face mask for that split second and before he started.
Yeah, I was about to say that, but then you kind of jumped in. You jumped in there in front of me with there. So, but yeah, I did enjoy all the nice nuances with him as the new and approved Electro. Yeah. But I think the other ones, I mean, Doc Ock was pretty much the same. No, Green Goblin. Norman Osborn, Willem Dafoe, talking about sticking with continuity. Yeah, they kept with the back and forth. Yeah, him hearing the voice in his head and everything like that. And I did like how they changed his costume up enough to where it did resemble Green Goblin.
Yeah, the hood and everything.
Yeah, he didn't have the mask. And I was kind of hoping the final battle scene when he comes gliding in at the end that he was going to have some kind of. But I guess that would be kind of hokey. I mean, for all intents and purposes, and the story purposes, be like, where'd you get the mask from? Because earlier on, he does have the little Power Ranger mask that he wore, but he ends up smashing it.
Because even now he's still fighting himself on who he wants to be, and he wanted to walk away from the Green Goblin persona that's in his head, and by symbolizing that, he smashed the mask, thinking that would help.
If I'm not mistaken, Green Goblin's personality took over once he knew Peter's plan. To neutralize him, right? Because he was like, "You're not gonna, you think I was gonna let you, kill me or whatever." So, yeah. So, cut to the final battle. There's a whole thing where apparently this was mentioned in the newest episode of Hawkeye, and it was in the trailer also for this one. But apparently they're redoing the Statue of Liberty, and they're building like
a Captain America
shield in front of where the torch is.
Yeah.
Is random. I don't know why they're doing it, but it doesn't matter at this point because they just.
I mean, if the Steve Rogers musical is making billions upon billions a year, at some point you got to recognize it.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of just such a random thing that they're trying to do, and for the sake of this final battle, I guess, because it all takes place at the Statue of Liberty, all the scaffolding and everything comes falling down, the shield comes crashing down. Yeah. That's where the final battle between our Peter and Green Goblin takes place. Yeah. Now there's a moment where he's just whipping Green Goblin's ass. Like there's like Green Goblin's.
There's a lot of wrestling in this movie.
There's a lot of wrestling. There's body slings, power bombs, all kinds of stuff. It was weird.
You just start thinking Hulk Hogan's theme.
Yeah,
it starts crashing down.
Yeah. And there was a cameo by Hulk Hogan. It's weird. Yeah. No, but there is so our Spider-Man is fighting Green Goblin, and he has him on the ground, and he actually like jumps up in the air and does like almost like a Superman punch down, and he
then used the webbing to do like a sunset flip powerbomb or code red.
Did he? Yeah, okay. Yeah. But he got out of the way.
And then Goblin in the apartment straight up powerbombed that fool through like 5 floors.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you jumped back to the previously, but yeah. So that's how the final battle is going, and then Peter actually picks up the Green Goblin's glider. He was gonna basically destroy him with it, but then Toby comes in and he gets in their way. No, you don't want to do this. And then he gets the old stab
from behind.
Did you think he was going to die?
Yeah.
I did too. I was like, shit, here we go.
Of course.
Because we can't have a reunion without one of the...
Now we got to get rid of the good Spider-Man, apparently.
Yeah. But he kind of joked, he kind of laughed it off, And I was thinking, I could kind of see it coming.
And that's where number 6 comes in. My JFK theory. I thought he was gonna die. Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker was gonna die. And the last movie we saw in the theater that was Marvel related, one of the cutscenes was Venom being transported to the timeline where our Tom Holland Spider-Man is being ousted as Spider-Man by J. Jonah Jameson. And I'm thinking, oh shit. They had talked about it when they were doing little team huddles, like, man, the weirdest person I ever fought was some purple dude, some purple monster, alien looking thing. So it would have been a nice little come around to have Venom show up and the symbiote take over Tobey Maguire to heal him, and then go back into Tom Hardy's body and back as Venom. And that's how Venom would finally have that Spider-Man star, because he wants to be heroic.
This all went through your head.
All that is like this. Now this is how Venom gets his Spider-Man logo on his stomach. It's like,
Jesus.
These are heroes. These are the guys we're supposed to fight. So I was expecting that too, which didn't happen, which I'm not like losing my shit over. But that was one of the thoughts that went into my head, is like, I don't want to see him die. But then it turned out he wound up living through it, I guess.
But the thing is, like, when he got stabbed, before he got stabbed, I kind of saw someone getting stabbed, because they would establish that Green Goblin had like a big, like a predator spike thing out of his wrist, and but I was thinking, dude, this is like right after Aunt May just died, so I couldn't picture them doing like 2 deaths like that. And sure enough, Andrew Garfield goes over to Toby and he's like, "Hey, you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I've been stabbed worse." So, so that was kind of a kind of moment. But while all this is happening, this box that Strange has, it got blown up by a pumpkin bomb, and like the sky just starts.
The whole multiverse is starting to open up, and you're seeing holograms of like Rhino and other villains.
I think I saw Kraven and a Scorpion. Like I saw if you make them out, you can see different silhouettes of different villains. But that's when Peter's like, "Look, we got basically let's make it to where nobody knows who I am. Fuck it.
This is why everyone's here.
Yeah.
This is why everyone wants to come crash this party. So this fucking just brainwash everybody.
Yeah. So
including Doctor Strange.
Yeah. So
Sir Strange.
He does it. And, Oh hey. Fuck it. So he does that, and he says goodbye to the other 2 Spider-Men, and then he has to say goodbye to MJ and Ned, and then that's basically it. We cut to basically Peter's walking down the street. He goes into where MJ's working at, and sure enough, she don't remember who he is, and so that's kind of is that how it ends? That's how it ends, right? And then we cut to the credits, and then we get our post credit scene, or mid credit scene. Is basically the follow through from the post scene, the post credit scene from Venom. Is from this Venom one
2, and he's at a bar, and someone's explaining to this, and a bartender's explaining to Venom, to Eddie Brock again,
all the MCU stuff,
everything that's happened in the MCU. Oh, there's a purple dude that likes stones. Aliens don't like stones; they like to eat people, and blah blah blah. And then Venom, the symbiote, admits that they're drunk, and just when they're about to do something, they get sucked right back into whatever time zone they're in.
So this one kind of bow tied everything that we thought they were going to expand upon. It's just they basically closed the book in my mind. They closed the book. Like the Venom 2 post credit scene, it hinted that Venom's going to be coming over to MCU. This one kind of said, nope, just kidding, he's going back. However,
what happened was there's a little sliver of symbiote that was left on the counter. And the camera zoomed in purposely, so that's how
it moves. It started crawling around. So
that's the introduction to the symbiote on whatever timeline 616 you want to call it, whatever Holland's Spider-Man.
So is the bartender going to be the? No, but so that's how that ended. As far as a post-credit scene, it was basically a trailer for Doctor Strange, his next movie, Multiverse of Madness. So final thoughts on No Way Home.
Worth the wait. It was really good. Easily one of my top 5 of this year.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said earlier when I opened this thing up, Marvel needed a big win.
All right, so let me throw this at you.
All right.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, Pop Culture Rewind did a tournament in front of humanoids and ranked Guardians of the Galaxy the best Spider-Man, the best MCU movie.
That was before Infinity War and Endgame.
No, Infinity War and Endgame were in the tournament, and Guardians was still the winner.
Was it?
Remember, Infinity was, you put Infinity War and Endgame together as a great
Oh well, I'm not gonna say this is the best movie. Whatever.
Okay. It's too soon, right, to make any kind of judgment.
Not only that, it's just it was a good Spider-Man. It's probably it's the best Spider-Man movie we've gotten out of this new iteration.
I think it's to rewind, to circle back to my anticipation to it. I think one of the other things that kind of lowered my anticipation was there's a history of that Spider-Man movie that's overcrowded, and the story isn't fleshed out as good. Obviously, the one with Venom and Sandman come to mind, and I was worried that they were going to overpack this and it was going to be too convoluted or too confusing or too much. This did not feel like 2.5 hours.
Surprisingly, right? Surprisingly, right?
There was enough in every 15 or 20 minutes that you were invested, and you kept going. Now, how much of that investment will you have if you aren't aware of the 3 Tobey Maguires or the 2 Andrew Garfields enough? There's one thing to have seen it once or twice, but if you know enough of what's going on that you remember that even up to now, it might not.
And to go on top of that here is, even if you didn't see those movies, they explain just enough to keep you in the loop of what's going on. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and all the villains are talking amongst themselves about, oh, yeah, you died like 2 years ago, and you died too, and, And
I think Marvel's kind of aware of that now, because we're at, like, what, the 86th movie of the cinematic universe? If you're going to start including the TV shows.
It's like, well, I think, is this 26? 20, 24? Or 25? Hell, I don't know. 23, 24. It's going to be 26.
And even though it's Sony,
it's around 26. Yeah. It opened up with the MCU logo.
So, even till now, I don't want to say water it down, but there's parts of the story that are so easy to follow that you can jump into, like, the 18th movie or the 20th movie or this movie. Surprisingly enough, there are still people out there that have never seen any Marvel movies, Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. And if they were to start now, they'll get enough information that they can be invested from here on out, to the point that either they'll be ready to put money down on the next movie or TV show, or that they'll take time to go back and watch from, not every fucking movie ever. They're not going to watch fucking Electro, but whatever matters in this MCU to get into it, Right. Maybe they'll have to dive into Netflix to catch Daredevil.
Oh, we need to talk about that.
We're about to. That's why I'm mentioning this.
They totally forgot about it. Again, we fresh out of the theater. That is all the stuff we've seen. We forgot about. Yeah, but fucking Charlie Cox made his little premiere debut in the MCU. Not as Daredevil, but as Matt Murdock. And
for now. But they kind of winked when somebody threw a brick through the window and Murdock caught it with his hand behind him without even looking. So it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Gonna happen.
Did you think that they were gonna introduce, like, Daredevil later on? Do you think there was gonna be a payoff of him saying, "I'm a really good lawyer," or when he caught the brick? Did you think that they're gonna do anything else? Or?
As soon as he caught the brick, I'm like, all right,
we're getting something.
We're getting some more. Yeah.
Were you disappointed that we didn't?
Not today.
No.
I mean, I wasn't expecting them to go full bore today, because there's a lot of fucking shit going on in this movie.
Yeah. No, but
you don't want to risk adding someone that quote unquote is new to the cinematic universe.
But to your point, what you said, I agree 100%. Where it did not feel rushed. Where we had movies like Spider-Man 3 and all these other ones where they always take that third movie and they all just like cram.
Or the second one's so bad they don't do the third. Well, Garfield's case.
Well, you know what I'm saying. It's just they always in Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2, they just cram so much stuff into it. It just felt overpacked and everything. This one, 5 villains.
They gave it the room to breathe.
5 villains, 2 extra Spider-Man. We had Daredevil popping up somewhere. There's a death scene. There's all kinds of stuff. And it continued the plot of MCU. And it did not feel rushed.
No.
It did not feel overcrowded. It did not feel overcomplicated.
Everybody got their due.
Convoluted.
Everybody got their redemption.
Yeah.
Or death, depending on what you want to see it.
I think everybody got their redemption. Even Electro at the end. Whenever he was talking to Spider-Man.
Green Goblin died.
No, hold on.
Osborn.
No, hold on. Electro. Let's go back to that. Because when Electro was like, they put the stopper on the arc reactor. And he's like, collapsed down on the side. Andrew Garfield says he's the one who
come on, man, I missed you, man.
Yeah. And he says, no, there was a nice little funny haha moment at the end, but he was like, man, you look good. You're in a nice area. Everybody knows you.
You're from Queens.
Yeah. He's like, I was expecting a black guy to be in it.
It's a tease.
Okay. So, I could go with or without Miles Morales coming in. I don't have anything against the character, but I know he's usually a replacement Spider-Man, and I don't want this iteration to go away because of another character. That being said, there was a scene where they show Aunt May at where she helps out the feast. I forget the name of the center that she works at, the rec center or whatever, where they feed people. Miles usually works there with her. So I was thinking maybe we'll see him in a scene, not necessarily get powered up and all that stuff, but at least introduce the character to the people.
Blu-ray bonuses, maybe?
No, they're not going to do that, no. But that being said, we're going to wrap this up real quick. I just want to say that they have announced that there is a new trilogy of Spider-Man movies coming out through this collaboration between Marvel and Sony. So
who doesn't want to make money?
Right, exactly. They finally figured it out.
The answer to all your questions is normally money.
Yeah. So they did say that Tom Holland is returning for the next movie, but they just said the next one. Yeah. For sure. They haven't said anything else about the other two movies. So it's a safe bet, I would think, that they are going to do something to maybe introduce Miles or get another version of Spider. Do something. It's obviously too early to tell. They greenlit the movies, but it's literally opening weekend of the movie. Yeah. So, but they did say this was a conclusion to the trilogy, and we're going to start a new trilogy. So, and I do like the name No Way Home. It is such an apropos title. Yeah. Figuratively, literally, metaphorically, there's no way home. Yeah. For Peter. So, all around, I enjoyed it. Yeah, I agree. It's probably one of my top 5 movies of the year, if not my favorite movie. Just again, this is fresh out of the theater. So, but anyway, I think that's gonna do it for our talk. What do you guys think of the movie? Did you already see it already? What are your expectations? Did you want more? Did you want less? I mean, where do you see it going from here? Let us know in the comments. And until next time, always remember to pop your culture.